What does a rider have to do to be as marketable? Like you look at a Roxon, very marketable. You look at a Jet, but then maybe you look at a Villapoto and riders like that. They're just very professional and not so big on the marketing side. What does a rider need to be more marketable in your eyes?
I mean, well, we're in this YouTube era, right?
Yeah.
Look at what Deegan's doing and has for a little while, and not just YouTube, but social. So obviously you've got to win. You've either got to have one of two things. You've got to be winning and dominating, like what RV did, like what, Jet does. Jet doesn't have a YouTube channel. He doesn't really post a lot on social media. He's got a great team around him that promotes him well. But I mean, if you're not winning races, I would be looking at what Elijah Wees does.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow him?
Yeah, I see his stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I think he does a great job, mate. A great job at marketing him, marketing our sport. I didn't know Elijah until I got to work with him this year when we went to Adelaide Supercross. And he was, in Adelaide, it was either Medi or Elijah as a local guy to work with. And Medi was great too, but then he hurt his knee. So he was around, but not as accessible as what Elijah was. So we used Elijah a lot for PR opportunities and, for a market like Adelaide. We had Chad there too, but we just needed someone. And we had a local guy there being Elijah, and he did so well. And since then, I've followed him and really studied what he does. He's in India now. He got a ride in India, and that's purely because how he markets himself.
Yeah,
he's got 40,000 followers on Instagram or something. And I said that to him. I thanked him after Melbourne for the amount of effort he did for us with promoting Supercross. He was one of the only privateers at every press day.
Yeah, right.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be there, but he worked hard for it. Once he was there, he got the content and pushed it. A lot of people complain, this guy's I'm not at press day when this guy is. But what are you going to do?
You got to give value, yeah.
For sure. And he done a really good job of it. And I said to him when I thanked him at the end, mate, thanks so much for everything you did. And he goes, I just wish I had better results. I said, I actually don't know how you went. And he didn't make a main.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And I said, mate, it doesn't matter. You've won the hearts of so many Supercross fans. Everyone in our office loves him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Australian Supercross fans really like him for who he is and what he's doing. And I don't know if they'd even know what he came.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
I totally agree with that. If there's a lot, you can get results. That's one way to do it.
Well, you have to get results. Don't get me wrong. It's important.
You can also be entertaining. You can also provide value in other ways.
If you're not getting the results, there are ways around it.
Yeah.
Having, winning races, getting results, being marketable is great. Having the complete package is great, but there's not a lot of them. But look at Tanti, and don't get me wrong, I love Tanti. But Elijah's got way more followers on social media than what Tanti does.
Well, probably a good one, and I don't want to seem like a slight in any way, but Joel Whiteman finished 4th or 5th?
5th?
I had no idea. Most people had no idea, and then he's in America doing if you took YG's personality and marketing skills and combined them with Joel's.
Exactly.
That's a star rider.
We've been doing the best we can to push Joel in the US because the local media haven't been. That's not true. I think Moto Online have been pushing him a little bit and doing a few articles and that on him here and there, but no one's really following his story. And I caught up with him when we were over there, and I was really, I'm genuinely stoked for him, but I wish they would tell that story a little bit more.
Do you think the onus is a little bit on the rider to tell their story themselves?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, invest in a camera guy to follow you around.
Use a phone these days. It's
you can, or
Joel Evans is a guy that
invest in an editor. Then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
CapCut's pretty good.
I know that, or CapCut, whatever, but I definitely would be.
For sure, yeah.
If I was in Joel's position, I would be documenting the shit out of that thing and telling everyone about it. And I know if Elijah was in that space, you would know everything about it.
For sure.
And his following would grow up through the roof. But each to their own. Maybe Joel doesn't give a fuck about that. I mean, it's totally up to him, It's he rode great with Australian Supercross. He won 2 of the 3 privateer payouts. And I've known him and his old man for a long time, and they're bloody lovely people.
Great people.
So I was genuinely stoked for him. And his dad, I know how much effort they put in. I love the time that they spent together. It was great to connect and see them both in Anaheim 2 pits. We just happened to bump into each other and we had a really good chat, the both of them.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked for them. I just wish they would tell more people about what they're doing.
For sure, yeah, everything they're doing is great. It's just needs to get it out there. Why do you think some riders don't so much market themselves like that?
Desire.
Yeah.
They don't want the limelight. They don't need the sponsorship. They're happy with.
It kind of does suck because
They're
like you
kinda
get
just-
into riding bikes to race and ride, and then you've got this whole marketing side which can provide a job and an income for you, but it's not really what you got in it to do.
Yeah, so it just comes down to doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it was me. I'd be all over that. But I know for some others, they just don't, it's not on their priorities. They don't care.
I'm just going to assume, say, we're just using Joel Whiteman as a random name, but say his results, his income was maybe around zero for racing. Wouldn't be too far off. Like he'd have prize money from the rounds.
He's got prize money, the privateer payout. I don't think he's got any bonuses. I don't know, mate. I wouldn't have a clue.
If he marketed himself like a Elijah, or even better, what do you think his potential could be? For a rider like that that's finishing 5th to 10th and they do the best marketing possible, put themselves out there, maybe they're doing merch, they're doing all the social media. What's the ceiling? Or even just like an average potential?
I don't know if they'd make a lot of money out of it though. I think they would get their expenses covered though. I think,
yeah.
I think if Elijah had Joel's results, I don't think it'd be costing Elijah a lot to go racing.
Yeah.
And that could lead into fill-in rides.
Yep.
If someone gets hurt, which then might be getting paid a little bit or bonuses. Imagine if Joel had factory bonuses for top fives. But I don't think he would have.
The reason I bring that up is I look at America and there's a crop of riders from like 15th onwards, Logan Carnell's, your Adam Enticknaps, there's a whole host of them. And they're all doing really well as privateers, like Buttery Films, he's not a racer so to speak, but they make a really good consistent living and it's purely just marketing. No one even knows what they finish, they're around 20th there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that would work in Australia?
It's hard because it's really hard. I mean, there's 300 million people in the US. We've got like 23 million, 24 million at the moment.
Yeah.
A supercross race in America costs the same amount of money as a supercross race to put on in Australia. And they're getting 30, 40,000 at each round.
Yeah.
We did amazing and Newcastle last year we had 17,000.
Yeah.
Per capita.
Percentage-wise, that's massive.
It's fucking massive, right?
Yeah.
But they're doing that 17 times. Last year we did it 3. This year we might do 5. The year after we might do 6. I mean, I think Australian Supercross is good for 6 rounds. That's the feedback we're getting from the industry. We're getting from the teams. I had a really good chat with Brayton. He goes, I think 6 rounds is where it needs to be at.
Yeah.
And no more than that. So it's hard for these dudes to go and do that with 6 rounds, especially with our population. There's a lot more people out there that can support them. But again, it's no easier or no cheaper to run the event here because we want to run our events at the exact same level as over there, but they just get a lot more support. Yeah. And I purely think it's down to population.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. If you look at any like market share, whether it's bike sales, they just replicate the population of the country and that's how many bikes they sell. It's just a percentage-wise all the time. So events, you would think, would be no different.